Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O greatest among human beings, it is very difficult to ascertain the particular miscreant who has caused our sufferings, because we are bewildered by all the different opinions of theoretical philosophers. So if you repeat, so purport by Srila Prabhupada. There are many theoretical philosophers in the world who put forward their own theories of cause and effect, especially about the cause of suffering and its effect on different living beings. Generally, there are 6 great philosophers. Kanada, the author of the Vaisheshika philosophy. Gautama, the author of logic. Patanjali, the author of mystic yoga. Kapila, the author of Sankhya philosophy. Janmani, the author of the Karma Mimamsa. And Vasudeva, the author of Vedanta Darshan. Although the bull, or the personality of religion, and the cow, the personality of earth, knew perfectly well that the personality of Kali was the direct cause of their sufferings. Still, as devotees of the Lord, they knew well also that without sanction of the Lord, no one can inflict trouble upon them. According to the Padma Purana, our present trouble is due to the fructifying of seedling sins. But even those seedling sins also gradually fade away by the execution of pure devotional service. Thus, even if devotees see the mischief mongers, they do not accuse them for the sufferings inflicted. They take it for granted that the mischief monger is made to act by some indirect cause, and therefore they tolerate the sufferings, thinking of them to be God-given in small doses, for otherwise the sufferings would have been much greater. Maharaj Parikshit wanted to get the statement of accusation against the direct mischief monger, but they declined to give it on the above grounds. Speculative philosophers, however, do not recognize the sanction of the Lord. They try and find out the cause of the sufferings in their own way, as will be described in the following verses. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, such speculators are themselves bewildered, and thus they cannot know the ultimate cause of all causes is the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead. Om Adhyana Timrandasya Jananjana Salakaya Chaksho Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Vancha Kalpatubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Bhavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Interesting verse, interesting purport. Very similar to verses in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 12. It's really, you could say, the conclusion, the age of Kali personified, is actually the culmination of our own sins. In other words, we're at this point in time where we are in the age of Kali, and we're having to accept the reactions of our past sins, but they're reduced by the grace of the Lord on the devotional path. So whatever's happening to us, we have to accept as the mercy of the Lord. That actually, this is the mercy of the Lord, but at the same time, it's actually the culmination of our own sins. So we're not innocent. This is what this is telling us. That actually what is happening here, that we can't put the blame on anybody else but ourselves and what we've been doing in our previous lives. Whatever's happening now is just a build-up of our own sins. But by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, he's given us a chance to hear the mercy of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna himself, who comes in the age of Kali in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a rescue mission by Bhagavatam for us. And Prabhupada, I was hearing the other day, one of the Prabhupada's disciples, and he was saying, Prabhupada, what sort of do you think brought us to devotional service? Because he was describing how in previous lives, generally, it's contact with the through our sukriti, or encounters with devotees, and also our own devotional sukriti, or pious activities. And he said, he corrected them. He says, no, you're not here by that. You're just here because you're just mercy cases. It's just that somehow or other we've met. That somehow my Guru Maharaj has sent me people to help me. And that actually, please don't think it's your own previous lives' activities. It may not be. It's just direct mercy of the Supreme Lord. So, whatever I am telling you now, appreciate that actually we're all sinners, that we're suffering from our previous lives' reaction. But now, the mercy of Bhagavatam has come to rescue us. And by my own spiritual master's instruction, who is an acharya, he's trying to rescue us. I'm trying to follow his instruction. And it's that mercy which I'm given, and it's come through Guru Parampara all the way to us. And this age of Kali is a terrible time. So they don't want to put the blame on anybody else. In this verse, it's quite clear. Because, and it's a wonderful verse, it says, "O greatest amongst the human beings, it's very difficult to ascertain particular miscreant, the cause of our sufferings, because we are bewildered by all the different opinions of different theoretical philosophers." So, very nice. So, this is very interesting. If somebody, I remember with our management here, they were given by some management consultancy firm a form to fill in, to have fill in against our own supervisors and managers of what we thought of them and our comments. And actually, I don't think anybody filled it in. Because it's against our philosophy. We don't complain. It's a tool of the material world. But somehow or other, we got involved with these management consultants to give us this advice, and that we give out these forms. So interesting thing. Our philosophy is here. How can we blame this person? He's an instrument. He's my supervisor. He's my guide. He's been put there by the Supreme Lord. We may not get on, but that's nothing to do with my conditioned state. It's all to do with my conditioned state. That I don't see this person as looking after me, that he's been put there by Krishna, and he's actually, he is my supervisor, because that's Krishna's position. He's put that person there to get you or ask you in some way to do service. So it's a good way to understand things. So if you would bear with me to some degree, I'd like to read briefly the English translations from 12 to 18, where this question was originally asked in the Bhagavatam here. And text 12, he, King Parikshit, Maharaj Parikshit, repeatedly addressed and questioned the bull, O son of Surabhi, you, who has cut off your 3 legs? In the state of the kings who are obedient to the laws of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, there is no one as unhappy as you. So this is the question. He says, who is responsible for cutting off your 3 legs? And then 13, if you bear with me, it gives us a foundation. It says, O bull, you are offenseless, thoroughly honest. Therefore, I wish all good to you. Please tell me the perpetrator of these mutilations, which blackmail the reputations of the sons of Pritha. And then text 14. Whoever causes offenseless living beings to suffer must fear me anywhere and everywhere in the world. By curbing these dishonest miscreants, one automatically benefits the offenseless. So he's saying it's my job. I'm here to protect the offenseless. Sorry, my fingers are very cold at the moment. Struggling with the pages. And then it says here, an upstart living being who commits offences by torturing those who are offenceless shall be directly uprooted by me, even though he be a denizen of heaven with armour and decorations. So that's interesting, isn't it? He's a denizen from heaven, this Kali, with armour and decorations. He was, you see, the kings are heaven sent. You know, they're supposed to be our protectors. But Kali had this dressed as a king. He was in disguise. He was you could say, a pretender to the throne. That's what they say when somebody wants to be king, isn't it? They want to be pretenders. The supreme duty of the ruling king is to give all protection to the law-abiding persons and to chastise those who stray from the ordinance of the scriptures in ordinary times. There is when there is no emergency. So it's a maintenance job for the king. Still, there are always prisons. There are still people who need to go to prison and commit crimes. So he's still there as a protector of the people. O greatest amongst human beings, it is very difficult to ascertain the particular miscreant. Oh, sorry. I jumped a page. Shri Shri Radha Gokunanda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Gauranitai Ki Jai, Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai. Then it says, whoever causes the beings to suffer in fear anywhere and everywhere in the world, by curbing dishonest miscreants, one automatically benefits the offenseless. Okay. So then it says, an upstart being commits offences by torturing those who are offenceless, shall be uprooted by me, even though he be a denizen of heaven. So the supreme duty of the ruling king is to be giving protection to the law-abiding persons. And then finally in 17, which is the precursor to this today's verse, the personality of Godhead said, these words just spoken by you benefit a person of the Pandava dynasty, captivated by the devotional qualities of the Pandavas. Even Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, performed duties as a messenger. So Krishna was also a servant of the devotees. So what we can understand here is that basically the king wants to do his duty, but the really wonderful thing is, who is really to blame? And we should try and, if possible, see through the eyes of here, where it's telling us that actually that we are responsible, but we're taking to the devotional path which Prabhupada is given us by the mercy of the Acharyas. And so in the Bhagavad Gita, it's a reflection of this verse. In chapter 12 and 13 it says, one who is not envious, but who is kind to a friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind, intelligence, and fixed on me, such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. So I think Prabhupada's trying to tell us that all of us on this devotional path, we become dear to Krishna. Very dear. We want to know how he feels about us. So he's saying, by following this path, which is again a reflection, but we're tolerant and we are free from false ego, that we must just follow this path and be tolerant and carry on. So really now the question lies, you could say, as how to be tolerant. Well, the first thing, the question raises itself in here, that is this first realization that for ourselves on the devotional path, that we should help each other on that path and reassure each other and forgive each other and be tolerant to each other for minor offences. This is the path of safety, actually, and realizing that actually we're all in the same boat. We do make errors, we do make mistakes, but these are, you could say, lessons on the path. it's a view that we should appreciate, that actually that we don't lament, but in fact we see it as that it's a step in the right direction, and we can adjust our position, that if we are out of line, that we can apologize, we can say sorry, we can help each other in that way, and also be forgiving of others and forgiving of ourselves. Because that's another aspect, where people, they say, I'm the worst of the worst, I'm the worst of the worst. It's not quite like that. The real picture is what Krishna is telling us here, is that actually it's a path we tread and we keep at to the rest of our days. And that's a wonderful verse. He who patiently endures the reactions of his past misdeeds, carrying on offering obeisances and worshipping the Lord, the kingdom of God becomes his rightful inheritance. Tolerating all the reactions of our past misdeeds, we have to tolerate them. So that's a wonderful verse, because it's our guiding thing, that actually that we have to tolerate right until the end of the end of our lives, actually, because we don't know what Krishna's got planned for us. We have a surprise waiting for us at the end of our lives. A surprise in that we know that it's the result of what we tried to do in this lifetime. And it says that actually we've come to, if we have firm conviction and faith, that it can be nothing but positive in our next life, that actually the devotional path will come to us. We can't be a loser. And this is the whole message of the Bhagavatam. And you can see it as we go through. That so many people have encountered difficulties. Jadbharat is a wonderful example of this. And in the end, he was so determined in his life. He pretended to be dumb, deaf, an idiot, so that somehow or other that he could just concentrate on his glorifying the Lord within. He was such an advanced devotee, and he tolerated all inconveniences that were put upon him, even though seemingly unjust. He just took them as another form of mercy of the Lord, and that because he'd slipped up on his path, and he was so determined that even with insult he would just, and beatings and almost being offered to Kali, he didn't do anything, he didn't take any action. He just let it all happen. And the Lord was protecting him, because Kali destroyed the people that were about to sacrifice Bharat to Kali. She is a devotee of the Lord too, and she saw that he was a pure devotee, so she killed the miscreants who kidnapped him, rescued him herself. And so Jadbharat, he didn't do anything, he didn't protest. He was going to let them chop his head off. And so that's a bit of an advanced stage, to get to, but it's a very interesting aspect. Now, a person on his final, you could say, run for the line of winning the line was there. That's all he saw, actually. He only saw the goal. That was his inspiration. I mustn't fault, I mustn't give in. And so there's some determination there. And determination is another key factor. Whatever's happened to us physically, mentally, or whatever in this world, because we're looking all around and we can see we're getting the reactions now with this COVID thing, and but Prabhupada's given us a way. Is a way of no fear. And what can it do to us? Our body's going to leave anyway. There's nothing we can do. And Prabhupada, in one of his last statements, this body is meant for disappearance. It's meant for disappearance. It's caused us so much suffering. So, we should welcome the change. And this is what the argument that was put to Arjuna. Bhishma Dev, they're old, you're helping them get a new body. You shouldn't worry about them. They're looked after by the Lord. So it's sort of like that. We're not callous with our body. That's one thing we have to remember. We can't be callous and think, Krishna's going to do everything. It won't be like that. It should be our best endeavor and our best according to the resource and understanding that we got within us. We should always try our best, but know that Krishna is looking after the result of everything we do. And we just got to somehow find this acceptance within ourselves. That this is just another form of mercy, whether it be happiness, which can be a deceiver, and distress, which can also be a deceiver, as dualities. But Krishna is transcendental. So, if you can't be good, be transcendental. That's the way. We're not meant to be pious. We're meant to be servants of Krishna in whatever way we can. We're not after pious credits, impious credits, or karma reactions. It's the pleasure of Krishna. That's our final goal. And which tells us in this Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12 and 13, it pleases Krishna ultimately. So I think that's it now. Is there any questions, comments?